I've been feeling so down.
Hi lovers, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tippy the Star, and this channel is called Tippy for Justice. If you love the Lord, then you're not lost, you are at the right place. So subscribe in order to become part of the law lovers community. Okay, this video that I'm making right now, it's a part 2 of the Attorney Admission Procedure Guideline that I'm doing. If you haven't watched part 1, please go watch it so you can understand where we left off and where we are continuing from. But if you've watched part 1, thank you so much for watching it. That means you are ready to continue with part 2. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. By the way, I have rooibos tea here with milk. Yes, that's how I like it. Anyway, on part 1, the last thing that we spoke about is that you need to issue and serve your documents at the LPC. There's some few pointers that I would like to highlight and to inform you of. The first one is that when you issue at the High Court, the registrar will give you a form, and that is your court file where you will fill in all the information. Then she will give you a court date, which in my case, the gap between the date on which I issued and served and my hearing date was 2 months and 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 months and 2 weeks, but for other people it is shorter. But I was happy with my gap because it gave me a time to actually prepare for my hearing day. So I was happy with it. And the other thing that I need to add is that when you are going to serve at the LPC, you need to make sure that you have paid and you have proof of payment of the prescribed 450. And the other thing is that you need to make an enrollment application. Either you do it online or you do it manually. They have application forms at the LPC which you can use to apply for enrollment manually. I would advise you to do it manually if you are gonna register as a non-practicing attorney, because on the website it isn't user friendly for people who wants to be enrolled as a non-practicing attorney. So yes, use that document at the LPC. Okay, moving right along. Ne? So after you have issued and served your application, what's gonna happen next is that your application is gonna lie for inspection at the LPC for a month. What's gonna happen within that month is that your application is gonna be scrutinized to ensure that it complies with the act, the rules and the regulations that regulates the attorney admission application. So after they have scrutinized, either your application is totally perfect, it doesn't need you to address anything, or that there's a few things that you can address and you can fix, so they give you a chance to fix them by sending you a query. Or what another thing that can happen is that your application is totally flawed, meaning that there's no way of you saving it. So the only way to do it is to start your application from scratch, remove it from the raw, and draft from the beginning, get a new date, issue and serve like it's a new application. You understand? So if it is totally flawed, that is what's gonna happen. But if it is perfect, then you are not gonna get any query or anything like that. But if there's certain issues that you can address, then they're gonna send you an email to tell you that please address this and this and that, and you are gonna address it by a supplementary affidavit, amended notice of motion. So in my case, I got a query 3 weeks after issuing and serving, and I was only given 1 week to address the issues. So that is how it happens. They send you an email, but during the pandemic, you don't have to issue and serve the supplementary affidavits or the amended notice of motion. You can they allow you to only send it through by email, but you need to call them and get directives from them and hear how they do things in your jurisdiction. So yes, that's what happens. So they will send you, if it is you can fix your flaws, then they will send you an email to say, okay, address this issue and that issue and do it by this time. They will give you a timeline to do it. So if you do not address those issues, then they will object your application. They will ask you to remove your application from the roll. If you do not remove it, then they will instruct a legal practitioner to object to your application on your hearing date. Okay, then the next step after you have addressed the LPC query, 1 week before your hearing date, documents needs to be uploaded on Caselines. You need to upload documents, and the LPC needs to upload documents as well. The LPC will upload 2 documents. The first document is the letter of no objection. If they are not objecting to your application and they are satisfied with everything and you have addressed their queries to their satisfaction, then they are going to upload a letter of no objection on your Caseline. Then the other thing that they are going to upload is a certificate of examination. So the certificate it's one certificate for all the 4 board exams that you have written, just to confirm that you have written and you have passed your 4 board exams. So it's not 4 certificates, but it's only 1 certificate. On Caseline, you must have a section of letter of no objection from the LPC, and another section on Caselines that is titled certificate of examination, so that the LPC can upload those documents under those sections. But if you didn't make provision for those documents and you didn't do the sections, then they will upload your certificate and your letter of no objection under your notice of motion. So before your court date, make sure you look for those documents under your notice of motion to make sure that they are uploaded. If they're not uploaded, then you can call the LPC and inform them that those documents are not uploaded and what is wrong, what do you need to do in order for them to upload those documents. Then you are sorted and you move on to other documents that needs to upload it by yourself. The first document that you're going to upload is your notice of set down. So basically you are notifying the LPC, the registrar, that your matter has been set down for this hearing date that you have received. So it's a basic notice of set down that you're going to draft and say that please be informed that on this date at this time the applicant's application will be heard by the above honorable court. Yes, and then you upload that on a new section on Caselines. Then the next document that you must upload is a draft court order. That is basic, what we all know. So you are gonna state your prayers on your draft court order. Your draft court order must be in Word, and it must also be uploaded in PDF on your Caselines under the notice of set down. Then next you are going to upload a practice note. Okay, some courts want you to upload a practice note and some courts do not require you to upload a practice note. So find out from your registrar if you need to upload a practice note or not. And the other thing that you need to know is that some practice notes are signed by the advocate, and sometimes the advocate doesn't want to sign the practice note. Like in my case, my practice note wasn't signed, but there was no issue with the judge. They didn't raise an issue with the practice note whatsoever. But I'll put a practice note here for you to see how it's supposed to be. Okay, so basically that's what you need to upload. It's important for you to upload your practice note. It's very important, but please find out from your jurisdiction whether you need to upload the practice note or not. The other document that you need to upload will be your attorney's affidavit. It states that the attorney has seen all the original documents that are attached to your application, and he confirms that they look authentic. Because it's during COVID, the court will not be able to see the originals. They need someone to verify that you have authentic documents. So that affidavit must be signed by your attorney. Okay, there are two directives. There's one directive that says that it must be signed by your advocate, but that directive was updated, and the current directive says that your affidavit must be signed by your attorney. I think it's because advocates need to get permission in order for them to sign affidavit. That's what my advocate told me. He said that he cannot sign the affidavit because he needs to get permission in order to sign any affidavit. But luckily my attorney was able to sign the affidavit. Okay, so it has changed. It is no longer the advocate who is required to sign, but it is the attorney who is required to sign. So after they have signed that affidavit, you upload it on Caselines. Then the next thing that you're going to do after uploading documents is to get an advocate. Okay, in my case, I knew who's gonna be my advocate months before my hearing. So I'd also advise you to go and search for an advocate maybe 3 months or 4 months before your application. You know what I mean? Even before issuing and serving, look for an advocate. One of the things that you can do is to make relationships with advocates whilst you are still a candidate attorney, because it seems like candidates are more likely to help you in your application if they are familiar with you and they get work from your law firm. So create relationships with advocates that you are working with, and if you don't have any relationship with any advocate and you need an advocate for your application very urgently, then what you can do is to go on Google and Google advocate chambers, and they will have a list of members under their website, and they have their numbers and their email addresses on the list of members. Then you must call and ask each advocate whether they will be willing to be your advocate on the day. So it's important, and I think that you need to do is to speak to them and make it clear that you want them to work with you pro bono. You know what I mean? Just to avoid any confusions. Just from the start, speak to them and tell them that you want someone who will do it pro bono. So that is the way to go in order for you to find an advocate. Then you will add your advocate as a participant in your case line. Okay, then 7 days prior to your hearing, the registrar will invite the judge and the judge's secretary on your case line. So I think that's when she will know who your judge is. Then she will be able to invite the judge and the judge's secretary on your case lines. Then after that, the secretary will send you a case roll 2 days prior to your hearing. That was in my case. Court roll was sent 2 days prior to the hearing, as well as the oath, and I had to sign and send the oath before the hearing or on the hearing date. the other thing that will happen is that you will find out from the judge's secretary whether your hearing will be by Zoom or whether it will not be by Zoom. It will be in an open court. That depends on what the judge prefers. If it's via Zoom, they will send you a link, a Zoom link. And after you get that link on your hearing date, you will use that link to go onto Zoom. Then you switch off your mic, obviously, and your video, and you wait for them to call people according to the court rule, and you wait for your matter to be called. When your matter is called, you do not open your video or your mic. The only person who will speak is your advocate. He will speak on your behalf, and then when he's done and everything satisfies the court, then you will then be called to unmute your mic and to show your face in order for you to take your oath. After you have taken your oath, you switch off everything, then you wait until the end of the roll. Then the judge will congratulate each and every one of you. Excellent moment. And then the last thing that will happen is that 12 days after your hearing, you will get an email from the LPC confirming that you have been admitted as an attorney, and they confirm that you have been enrolled as a non-practicing or as a practicing attorney. And that is it. Congratulations and good luck if you're still on the journey. I love you lots. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Down, yeah. I've been feeling so down.